The FIM e-Power International Championship held its second edition in 2011, continuing the Federation's pioneering approach to renewable energy racing. A series consisting exclusively of electric-powered bikes of all shapes and sizes, variety is at the centre of what many see as the next step forward in two-wheeled sport. Here was the 2011 calendar event Manicors, Schleiss, Laguna Seca and Limon, the 4 rounds in the e-Power calendar. There were some new teams and new riders for the 2011 season, bringing with them new technology and plenty of previous experience with gas-powered bikes. The teams all had different ideas and approaches for the FIM e-Power International Championship. This is the future of motorcycle racing. We need to grow, and in order to do this, we are here to take the project forward. It is difficult because of everything that is going against us. Our aim is to show the fans the electric bike, because we have seen that even the pros like it when they try it out.
Una volta che ci salgono sopra, in particolare parlo di motociclisti convinti o dei professionisti, una volta che ci salgono sopra piace.
Me parecía un reto.
It seemed like an interesting challenge for me. I have plenty of experience with gas bikes and have been retired from competition for a few years. Then they mentioned the project to me. It was intriguing, and now we're here trying to blaze a trail in what I believe is the future of racing.
Abrirnos un camino en un futuro que creo que esto va a ser el futuro de las carreras de motos.
MÜNCH is an old German brand from the 60s. We built in the past very strong motorcycles, and now we want to go with a new time and want to build electric motorcycles. First of all, we want to learn on the racetrack, and after learning on the racetrack, then we intend to build street bikes.
Last year we built the MÜNCH racing team. We won the constructor title in the international championship here by FIM, and now we are starting again and hope to win 2011 the driver and constructor championship.
Round 1 took place at the historic Manicors circuit in France, accompanying the FIM QTEL Endurance World Championship Series at the 24-hour Bol d'Or event. A look at the Manicors circuit, 4,411 metres long, 7 left corners, 10 right corners, round 1 of the e-Power International Championship. The grid set for the opening race of the series, the second year of FIM e-Power competition. The electric bikes out for a second rollout, accompanying the Endurance World Championship. The race at Manicors pitted 3 different riders against one another in the season opener. Riding with the number 44 bike, Alessandro Branetti was quickest out of the blocks, joined by the number 49 bike of Matthias Himmelmann. Hear the sounds on board Branetti's bike. The CRP entry in the e-Power International Championship. Behind them, Marcelo Manzano on the number 7 LNG machine. Branetti taking an early lead, but being stalked by Himmelmann. All 3 bikes able to complete the race, a primary objective in the first event of the year. The competitors had had limited practice time at Magny-Cours before the race, sharing the weekend occupancy with the Endurance World Championship. All these e-Power International Championship events taking place on FIM homologated circuits, receiving the very best of support by the governing body. Himmelmann was riding for the MÜNCH team, an old brand from the 1960s based in Germany. Brunetti based in Italy. And Brunetti was the winner in a race which featured a somewhat confusing finish. The Italian was able to overtake Himmelmann at the end after a mistake. He eventually bested his German rival by 2 minutes and 9 seconds, completing the race in a time of 13 minutes and 44 seconds. CRP's Alessandro Brunetti, the winner of round 1 of the FIM e-Power International Championship 2011 season. Brunetti taking the checkered flag all by himself. Himmelmann a couple of minutes behind. Manzano in 3rd place at Magny-Cours.
I don't know what happens. 3rd round, 2nd or 3rd round, problems, no power. We can drive very fast. We showed it, but I don't know what's happened.
The final standings then. Brunetti in 1st place, Matthias Himmelmann in 2nd, and Manzano rounding off the podium in 3rd place. Brunetti taking the lead in the overall standings. The riders and mechanics in the FIM e-Power International Championship run us through some of the technical details of their bikes, also explaining what it is like to ride such a different beast to the more traditional petrol-powered machinery.
If you look at the engine, it's a 90 kilowatt engine, and it's very small to compared with a normal engine. And we are driving not with chain but with belt, carbon fiber belts. Here you see the battery pack. The battery consists of more than 1,900 cells, and how we store these cells, we can make a 50-50 weight from front to rear. We are free to build the chassis of the battery. That's a very good thing.
The bike is a really fun bit of kit and enjoyable to ride, and it doesn't make as much noise as a petrol-powered bike. That's maybe the best characteristic that it has. We need to test the bike a bit more, because with the practice runs that we have had, it is still making some noise that I haven't heard before in all my years as a rider.
Senti dei rumori che non hai mai sentito, e dopo tanti anni che guidi un motore, una moto a motore, insomma, non te ne accorgi più.
We have to work on the bike a bit more, but we are more or less ready to have a good season.
Buone capacità di sviluppo e un bellissimo campionato.
Round 2 was held alongside the sidecar series in Germany at the Schleiss circuit. It was a home race for Himmelmann and MÜNCH Racing. The Schleiss circuit, 6,605 metres long, 7 left corners, 5 right. Round 2 of the FIM E-Power International Championship. Matthias Himmelmann was back. Second place in Magny-Cours. First place went to Alessandro Branetti. And there was another German rider for MÜNCH in the form of Thomas Mertens. Alexander Schulz also participating as a home rider. He was competing for the XXL racing team and qualified 4th on the grid. Himmelmann was in pole, Branetti in second, Mertens in third. A local round for the MÜNCH Racing duo of Himmelmann and Mertens. And they ended up as 2 of the only finishers of the 4 participants. Branetti got off to a great start, whilst Himmelmann waited for his chance further back. The second lap featured record lap times for the Schleiss circuit, but disaster struck for Branetti on lap 3. His CRP bike overheated and he was forced to retire from the race, meaning that he would concede the lead of both the round and the overall standings to Himmelmann. Alexander Schulz, a debutant in the E-Power International Championship at Schleiss, unable to keep up the pace with Branetti and Himmelmann, but with Branetti's retirement, he was able to step onto the podium. Himmelmann clocked the fastest lap time of the race on lap 4, extending his 22-second lead over Mertens. Whilst a battery power delivery issue dropped Schulz further back, however he was able to complete the race and the all-German podium. Victory for Matthias Himmelmann and MÜNCH Racing. Himmelmann moves up to first place in the overall standings. The only 2 finishers within a lap of one another, Matthias Himmelmann and Thomas Mertens. That leaves the overall classification 20 points, the advantage for Himmelmann over Alessandro Branetti. Round 3 and the FIM E-Power International Championship headed stateside to Laguna Seca. A 3,680 metre long circuit, 7 left corners, 4 right, including that corkscrew so famed at Laguna Seca. The United States has established itself as the most advanced country in the world for electric racing, and the FIM E-Power International Championship had held a second event at the world-famous Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca in the summer of 2011.
Time to see where everyone stacks up and see who can make 8 laps at how fast they can go. Be interesting.
I mean, we're very excited. Very proud of the team and the bike and what's been accomplished over the last year. We had about 45 minutes of testing really before we got here. We've just seen the times tumble this year, so it's really great to see the electrics do so well in such a short period of time and surprise so many people.
I would say Sis and I were a little surprised with Steve Rapp showing up on the Mission bike and being considerably faster than us, but we've worked hard through the weekend with the Lightning Motorcycle crew, and and we've changed suspension and gearing and just worked on the electronics in order to get the most power that we can for the race.
The American riders are the ones to watch out for, but I hope that the changes that we have made work and that I can place as high up as possible.
I like the track. We want to drive a little bit faster, and I hope to finish the race on the podium.
Looking forward to the race. I think it's going to be an exciting race for everybody to see. I think the technology is really advanced, and I think people are going to be surprised by some of the speeds of these electric bikes.
A legendary track, preparing to see e-Power racing for the second consecutive year. They held a round of the series back in 2010, and once again the e-Power International Championship accompanying MotoGP. Joining the calendar for the US Grand Prix, the e-Power International Championship event, round 3. And just as expected, after he dominated free practice and qualifying, Steve Rapp was the standout on race day at Laguna Seca. His qualifying time would have placed him in the top 10 of the AMA Supersport category, which also runs at Laguna Seca. And the difference between the Mission Motors bike and the rest of the field was made clear. Steve Rapp managed to gain a 40-second advantage over second-placed Michael Seiss over the space of 8 laps, taking victory in the US round of the e-Power Series. Michael Barnes completed the podium for Lightning Motors, and his job was made easier when Bramo's Steve Atlas experienced a transmission failure and created a gap between the two. The 7th-placed bike was a curious combination of an electric engine and the chassis of a classic bike, the 1951 Norton Featherbred. Rapp took the win, dominating on board the Mission Motors bike.
The name of the bike, the Mission, is perfect because, you know, this company's been on a mission since they started, and you know, they started long before I was with them, and they've done a lot of groundwork and they've done a lot of hard work to get the bike to this point, to give me a great bike to ride. So I think it was a good combination, good timing, and a great venue in front of a large crowd to promote this technology and just show them what it's capable of, and I think it'll just keep growing.
Steve Rapp, the winner at Laguna Seca over Michael Seiss and Michael Barnes. Alessandro Brunetti placing 5th, ahead of series leader Matthias Himmelmann. The podium ceremony then at Laguna Seca. Steve Rapp taking victory for Mission Motors.
Steve Rapp on the Mission.
The 4th and final round of the season featured one of the largest crowds ever for an e-Power race, as it accompanied the Endurance World Championship for a second time in 2011. The legendary Bugatti circuit at Le Mans, the venue for the final round. 4,185 metres long, 5 left corners, 8 right. The e-Power International Championship back in France. Just as the season began, there it ended. Back in Europe, back in France, and with Chinese participants from the Zhongshen team. One Ho Chi Fung from the Chinese factory team. Matthias Himmelmann of MÜNCH Racing was the series leader, looking to clinch the title at round 4. And it was Himmelmann who dominated at the famed Le Mans circuit, taking the e-Power title with a race victory. It was somewhat redemptive for Himmelmann, who was disappointed by his 6th place finish back at the Laguna Seca co-event, where he had the chance to compete against the strong American teams. Zhongshen, the Chinese team, participating for the first time in 2011 in the e-Power series. Shalina Moreda, the first female participant in the e-Power International Championship. She had competed at Laguna Seca and also riding at France. The Italian CRP racing team with a strong presence at Le Mans, with no less than 3 bikes and riders entered. Their strategy paid off, with Alessandro Branetti taking the middle step on the podium, finishing behind Himmelmann for the 2nd time in 2011. It was victory for the MÜNCH team though, and Himmelmann, and in a show of how fast the technology has progressed. Their 2011 top lap time was over 26 seconds better than what they could do in 2010. Himmelmann men cruising to victory, taking the win as he did in Schleiz, and taking the International Championship title.
I think it's not a lie when I say we have the best bike in the moment here in Europe.
The final standings at Le Mans: Himmelmann finishing ahead of Branetti and Alex Battistini. And in the overall standings, Himmelmann taking the title, Branetti in 2nd, Steve Rapp in 3rd. With a 2nd season under its belt, the e-Power International Championship continues to grow in strength. The series will be back in 2012, and the future looks bright for electric racing.
At least in qualifying, 14 seconds or 13 seconds faster than the year before. I mean, that's unheard of in racing. So, to be able to do that in a 1 year's time, we don't really know what the future holds, but it looks good.
Everybody's interested in what the next thing is, and I think there's a general consensus that consumption of energy is something that's real and it's in front of us. And what we don't want to do is limit our fun, limit our racing, limit what we love. So this is a way that we're confident we can have this for another 100 years.
I think people didn't take it serious, to be honest with you, for a while. It's new, it's different from what they're used to, and when you change things, people kind of aren't sure what to think. But I think as people start to see these lap times and they start to realize that these bikes they're not a joke anymore, and they're very serious, and it could be something that might be around for a while. They might have to start embracing.
And the possibilities for the electric bikes are endless. That's the most exciting part about them. they haven't even tapped into it yet. They're just getting started. So I can't wait to see where it goes, and I hope that I will get to be a part of it.